Hey there, NFT curious listener. I'm Eathan Janney. Welcome to this special episode. We're coming to you from NFT NYC week. We're going to bring you a series of amazing interviews. It's going to seem like you're just jumping from cool conversation to another cool conversation with us. Keep listening, and we hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Edge of NFT podcast with your hosts, Jeff Kelley, Eathan Janney, and Josh Krieger. We aim to bring you not only the top 1% of what's going on with NFTs today, but what will stand the test of time. We explore the nuts and bolts and the business side, but also the human element of how NFTs are changing the way we interact with the things that we love. This podcast is for the futurists and dreamers, the disruptors and creators, the fans and connectors, and the makers and doers that are pumped about this ecosystem and driving where it goes next.
All right, so we're here with Mike Mongo today, and this is going to be an impactful interview. I'm very excited. I'm going to let this fellow introduce himself, and then we're going to jump into some of the things that he's up to. I keep trying to think of puns that I can say up front to tell people what he's about to do, but I can't. And I'm sort of to the moon. Yeah. So, anyways, we'll get right into it.
Yeah, hi. I'm Mike Mongo. You are obviously the Beastie Boys, like Eathan and Josh of the.
And you know, like one of the Beastie Boys, or like you've been hanging with them since you were a little kid, right?
So my buddy Mixmaster Mike was here this weekend for NFT NYC, and this is so crazy. Everything's so nuts here this week. So yes, last night was a Method Man show at Sotheby's. They had a big NFT event there, and I'm just hanging out, and then out comes Mixmaster Mike, and we kind of grew up together as homeboys, and we haven't seen each other in person in 20 years. And so we're both, I'm like, wait, Mike? And he's like, Mongo? And I'm like, Mike? Mongo? And then he's like, what are you doing here? I'm like, I got selected to be, I'm in the first commercial crew for Uplift Aerospace. I'm going to space, training as an astronaut. And his mind was, but I was there when he got called by the Beastie Boys in the 90s and said, hey, you want to be part of the group? And so this is all points are converging in time and space with NFTs. I think Web3 is humanifesting that.
Beautiful. And we kind of just jumped right into it. Why don't you give people a little context on who you are, aside from our revelations about the Beastie Boys. So if you introduce yourself, what should people know as a little bit of a bed about you to lay the foundation?
I'm Mike Mongo, astronaut teacher and author of the Astronaut Instruction Manual, NFT creator. I've been creating NFTs since 2017, 2018. Project I co-founded, CryptoTitties, is the 29th on the blockchain, and it's the first for social good. 25% of all profits went to care initiatives for people with breast cancer. And then when we started creating NFTs back then, we had no idea. They were called crypto collectibles. We had no idea that it would we would be here today where we're standing in these galleries and seeing these pieces and just being with you, and here we are in the future, and it is amazing. That's I co-founded Obey with Shepard Fairey. I did Obey for 15 years, and then it just allowed me to go into whatever I wanted to do for life. And I chose astronautics. I live in Cape Canaveral. I'm in Los Angeles part-time. I work very closely with Kyle Schember and Ryan Stite at Subtractive. And I'm deeply embedded in the Los Angeles NFT community. Some of that's one of the pinnacles of NFT creation in the world right now. And then I got to go to NFT LA this past year, and my two big conferences. I'm very selective of where I spend my time. So when I got to go to NFT LA this year and have the kind of experience that I had, the parallels really NFT NYC. Like those are if anyone creates NFTs, those are the two places we have to be. Just because we see one another and we connect and we find out that, oh my gosh, this person is actually awesome IRL, and that matters. And then we see that this is a movement. This is like, it's funny because people are so antagonized by NFTs, and other people and the rest of us are like, this is the way. And with NFTs, it reminds me of when graffiti art started. People either loved it and made it, or hated it and despised it. And here we are in the future, people are like, oh yeah, graffiti art, like, yeah, Banksy. Like, everything's so cool now, right? Nobody's going to jail for doing art at this juncture. And well, NFTs have that same sort of impact when people talk about, oh, NFTs are destroying everything. They're a scourge on the ecosystem, as if the banking and military industrial complex for the last 2,000 years hasn't been just investing in the demise of civilization. And here we are proposing something that allows for abundance for all of us. And people are like, no, scarcity was good enough for my parents and is good enough for me. And like, okay, I'm not here to argue whether NFTs are great or not. I'm just making NFTs because NFTs are great. Pow, pow, pow.
And we were talking a little bit before about some of those moments, those impactful moments that you had out at NFT LA in this past year's event. But we're here at NFT NYC again, one of these monumental events.
Absolutely.
Tell us about your experience so far here. Have you had any of those moments?
Yeah. What? How can you not? Like, Josh, you have to. When a month beforehand, when people were deciding whether they go to NFT NYC, I was adamant publicly on all my social. You get to go. You get to go. I'm not a have to. I'm not a must to. I'm not a need to. I'm a get to guy person. And being at one of my friends, Nate FT, got on a bus to get here and like made sure that they were here and didn't have the means, the resources, all the things. And that is the way. Let it work itself out, because if you're a legit creator and you have legit connections on social and in the audio rooms, those are legit connections in real life. As long as we show up as creators. And so then, like, I got to be on stage yesterday with Jody Rich and Ian Utility, who are the co-founders of NFT NYC, and we announced to the world that the Uplift Aerospace first commercial crew has been announced, of which I am one. And so now I'm training to go to space, and we're working on the contract with Blue Origin. The first astronaut, Ruben Salinas, is already contracted. And so I will go to Scotland from here. I fly out tomorrow to Scotland to stage Mike Mongo's astronaut job camp for the next month at the Saxavord Spaceport. Anyway, when I get back is when the whole crew reunites and we begin our training. And then we can't announce a launch date with the NDA. Like Blue Origin says, no launch dates until 30 days before the launch. But
that's pretty monumental. I would say.
Yeah, that's
monumental.
That is a big deal. And we were just talking before this, as we were talking to you. We've had the chance to be in touch with some, astronauts because of some people doing NFT projects around that. You did the Mutniks previously, yes. Right? That's really cool. We've talked about that with Kyle Schember previously. We have guests that come on. We ask them questions like, what would you do if you could do anything, right? Anything physical that you could purchase, right? What is it, physical, digital, or an experience, right? And they're always like, so many people, I want to go to space. So we need to keep talking, because I think it's our job to facilitate
at least one trip.
At least one trip, and I think it's like a group thing. Like maybe we take our guests out on a base flight or something.
This is doable. Okay, so I didn't really elaborate on how I became a finalist. This was done. Uplift Aerospace has a Web3 component. It is space plus NFT, and by buying the launch pass, I got to apply to be an applicant. So all the applicants were then voted on by the community. Now, every single applicant, the 5 finalists are all space professionals. Ruben Salinas is a medical technologist. Joan Meisner is a rocket, not engineer, rocket technician. Sydney Hamilton is a rocket. So Joan is a rocket scientist, and then Sydney Hamilton is a rocket engineer, and then Trent Tresh is a human spaceflight training director at I think U of A, and then I'm an astronaut teacher in Cape Canaveral. The NFT community chose us out of all the applicants, with the Space Plus NFT. And now that Space Plus NFT, the holders have another opportunity for upcoming flights to go through the processes. Space Plus is now creating training experiences for holders of an NFT to become the best version of themselves that may enable them to be in the next commercial crew when they select another crew.
Right.
I mean, this is insane, right?
That's great. We got to get involved.
Can you imagine 20 years ago saying that would be the case? I mean, it would have been hard to envision that.
Last year.
Oh, well, yeah, right. Last year. Right.
Hey there, NFT Space Cadet. Let's zoom in on the globe from outer space today to Abbot Kinney Boulevard in Venice Beach, LA. Let me show you a cosmic tech beacon that shines out among the bustle of fashion, art, and food there. It's a thriving software dev, data science, and design studio known as AE Studio, where scores of the sharpest minds have come together to help founders and execs create software and machine learning solutions that are not only profitable and increase our agency as humans, but that give us that warm, fuzzy feeling that elegant tech so wonderfully does. AE's breadth of talent allows them to build anything from instillvideo.com, it's a health, fitness, and wellness app that makes your chakras tingle, to award-winning brain-computer interface solutions that could quite literally bend our minds. Oh, and keep an eye out for Token Runners, their NFT white label marketplace, as well as their highly anticipated NFT drop, Boomer NFT. Now, for all you degens who strive to shed the cummerbund and pearls comes a jaw-dropping, awe-inspiring partnership, not seen since the heyday of Shaq and Kobe. It's called Edge of AE Studio, and you can find out all about it at edgeofae.com. That's right, this full-service soup to nuts and whole enchilada NFT service can help you, yes you Randy, launch your NFT project. Edge of NFT and AE Studio have come together like Voltron to get your project in gear so you can hightail it straight to the moon, stardom, and maybe even your own private yacht. Go to edgeofae.com to find out more. That's edgeofae.com. Actual results may vary depending on moon landing location, domain of stardom, scale and model of yacht, as well as whether scale model of yacht or actual yacht.
Exactly. The pace of advancement is just crazy here. Let's shift gears a little bit and talk about what other projects you have going on. Anything new on the forefront here that we should look forward to in the coming months besides your trip to space?
Right. So right now, my book, The Astronaut Instruction Manual, is being turned into a television series by Alcon, who does The Expanse, and it's going to be about the first kids in space. It's a character-driven series, and Leland Melvin, who is the ISS astronaut, only astronaut to play NFL professionally and go to space. Like this is so. Leland is a producer on the series. I'm honored about that. And so that's one thing. I am also, as an NFT project, I've got a new project coming out with Jessica Yotrowski, the fine artist, and Aster Yang, the doll artist. I mean, those are two titans, and it's called Bayvolution. And we just did a free mint for the basic bays, and we have a series leading up to April 23rd, 2023, with Bayvolution, where it just cultivates and evolves into these things. And this is for me as an artist, the medium of NFTs, because I think of NFTs as a medium, is where I did the other mediums. I was there at the birth of hip hop, and this is the first time that I've got paid secondaries. It's 1 year since I've been putting out a new series of NFTs, and I've got paid secondaries. The CryptoTitties project that I was talking about, we gave 33 ETH to breasties.org in January when ETH was actual real money. We know what it is right now, but it was almost 4,000 a coin then, and that was $100,000, and they were blown away. And we have been storing up this ETH, and no one would take it because they thought, they're like, I don't understand what this crazy money is, this play money that you all have. And then finally we found somebody, and this is one of the things that NFT creators find has a challenge, discover that when we work to create social good and embed it into our projects, that we can't find people to take the ETH or that. Now it is certainly, the television has done a great job of communicating the value of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
So, again, we were just chatting a little bit. We had such fun. That's why we're having this interview. But you were pumped about NFT LA 2023. And I'd love to like hear more about what you want to get out of it, and why you're pumped.
So the NFT community in Los Angeles is one of the most vital and dynamic in the world. Okay, so that's one of the things. Like people in the United States may not perceive what's happening in South Korea with NFTs, but there's something really remarkable happening there. There are these places like Los Angeles where NFT creators are coming together and creating these hubs in the same way that the technological hubs developed in all the different places. People are still trying to build technological hubs, like Silicon Valley of Utah kind of thing, and that's great. But holy smokes, that's so Web 2. Web 3 is where the game is, and NFT, after people went to NFT LA this past year, people moved to LA. People moved to Los Angeles because of what they saw and experienced in the community that came together and lives in Los Angeles. So if you had to pick two to go to, because it seems like there's a conference every week now, an NFT conference, right? So, or Web3 conference, and if you had to pick two, it would absolutely, without a doubt, be NFT NYC and NFT LA. And that's really to your credit, because that was the first time you pulled off that major event. Most people really do an inadequate job on the first go around, and I had so many seminal experiences at that conference, the relationships that are crucial to my success right now. John Dean, who is renowned, who did the NFT drop just last week with Chris Brown and his brand and everything. I was at the Kanye West video drop that happened there at one of the parties in the Hollywood Hills, where they broke the video into NFTs, and the people got pieces of a Kanye West video, and these things that. And people there are creators and artists from Web 2 who are trying to find a way that they can harvest from Web 3. And then there are creators who are indigenous to it and have authenticity and are sometimes making mistakes, learning from it, and then going on to become the artists that we all know we are, or that they can be. There's something that's important that Gabe Weiss, Gabe Weiss, the NFT painter, real life painter, NFT painter, he said this. He said, if you are here now, you are early. And if you are here 3 years from now, you're early. So why not get here now? So it's a year till NFT LA. There's no reason that a person cannot make plans to show up to this event. When we get to a place where I can't do it for this reason or this reason, those are decisions. And so the future is unfolding. We're the authors and architects of that. Why wouldn't we be there? So hip hop is being born, and we live in New York, and it's over here. And but I got to cross the bridge, to go and visit the birth of hip hop. That's it. The difference between this and that, between the birth of hip hop and this, what's happening with Web3 right now, is that everybody is getting paid and creating abundance in our lives, not just for ourselves, but for our friends and our families. Who doesn't want a part of that?
Yeah, no, we're creating a bigger pie, 100%. And NFT LA, March 20th to the 23rd, 2023. We're there to spark inspiration. We're there to spark relationships, just as you described, Mike. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with us today. Where can folks go to follow you and all of your exploits, man? There's so many things happening.
I'm on all the social platforms. I'm always doing stuff with, I was on Cyan Proctor. I mention her all the time, and she's an astronaut who's also an NFT creator, and she did artwork in space that you just get brought back to Earth. And so she and I are working on some projects right now. And so I'm on all the social platforms. Twitter is my main go-to. That's the best way to get a hold of me. And another thing is, if anybody needs to get a hold of me or wants to ask any questions, that's another thing about the NFT community, is everybody is accessible and open and supportive, and this is that time.
But don't text Jeff after 10 p.m. because that's when he goes to sleep.
There you go. And it's
I think we're on video, so hold on. There was one thing I wanted to say.
Oh, what's this? Yeah, we're gonna give a shout out to our location too here.
This is Eric Zenner, and I like his work. We're at this gallery, and this is one of those artists. Like you can see it in his work. He wanted to go to space. He's like a big space guy like me, and so I was just at this gallery. Yeah, so like that's imbued in his work, and
we got to get this guy to space. So we want to give a shout out to. We just stepped into this gallery really impromptu to get an interview as a nice quiet space.
Yeah, we kind of just ran into each other.
Yeah. And also the gallery itself was really gracious in letting us come in here and use their space. And so the gallery is called Gallery Hennick, and it's a beautiful space in Chelsea. And I say come on out and visit and check out the art.
Right by the river. Right
by the river. So anything else we should say, sir?
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I really appreciate the work.
Yeah, this is one of the beautiful things about New York and Chelsea and Soho, where we were also previously. It's just being able to walk into just these incredible art galleries. So a real privilege. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike, for taking the time.
NFT NYC 2022, NFT LA 2023. Pow, pow, pow.
The views and opinions expressed on the Edge of NFT podcast reflect solely those views and opinions of the show creators and its guests. We're learning as we go, just like you. Please make sure to do your own research. Our podcast is not financial advice. There are multiple strategies and not all strategies fit all people. You understand that you are using any and all information available on or through this podcast at your own risk.